good morning. Hello, my name is Cindy, and thank you for coming to my channel. And as you can see, we have sun this morning. It is sunny this morning, and we are excited. Oh, there's an emergency. Okay. I just had a car pass me like really fast. I wonder if that was maybe an emergency vehicle, but they didn't have a light on, and it was kind of strange because this road I'm on right now, if you speed, you get caught. So I had just now there was a car with a light, but it was quiet. It wasn't like a police car. It was coming this way, so that means it's a volunteer emergency vehicle. But before I turned on the video, there was a car that came up behind me really fast, and it didn't have a light, but I just pulled over anyway because I figured, hey, if you're in that much of a hurry, go in front of me. So yeah, so good morning. It is April 14th, 2025. Wow, the sky is blue. Very blue. Very, very blue and clear. We've had lots of clouds the last few days, and so it's really nice to see clear skies. I looked at my weather for the day, and it said it's going to be 60 degrees today. Very exciting. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday, so yay for the warmer weather, and very exciting. So it's sunny today. I'm excited. I'm very, very happy. Okay, so it's Easter Sunday coming up, and this week is the week before Easter, and in New Hampshire we have Friday off, but we have school Monday through Thursday. And then we'll have another week, let's see, of school. Getting my weeks mixed up. Yeah, we have another week of school, and then we have a week off. So we have like 2 weeks of school before our spring break. And so in 2 weeks, it could be really amazing around here. I do see buds on the trees. I don't know if you can see from this video, but I'm looking at the trees, and you know, obviously we have pine trees that stay green all year round, but the trees that will give us some pretty leaves have little red buds on them. So then you know that growth is happening. So that's very exciting. There's a lot of like daffodils are starting to come up, and other flowers that are perennials. So that's very exciting. So thank you for coming to this video, and I'm happy to be here this morning on a Monday morning. Oh, Cybertruck! When I'm with my kids, a lot of times if I see a cool car, I will say cool car alert, and then they all turn their heads. And I don't always know the names of the cars. I'm not good at that. My dad was really good at naming every different type of car. He knew what car it was, the year that it was made, and all that stuff. But I do know a Cybertruck when I see one, which every now and then I'll see them. So good morning, and welcome to my video. Thank you for coming, and I see a few people are here and commenting. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for supporting my small channel. BMW, yeah. I like BMWs. Although my daughter, she got a BMW kind of SUV type thing, and it was new, and she had so much trouble with that thing. She couldn't wait to trade it in, you know. it was a lot of trouble. I don't know exactly what kept going on it, but I mean, I'm driving this Toyota and it works. It's a Toyota RAV4 and I love it, and I hope it. I was thinking about getting a different car this summer, but I think I changed my mind. I'm gonna just keep driving this one because it's working well for me and I want to save my money. And yeah, so how are you guys doing? It's good morning, April. I know that around here people are starting to work their gardens, cleaning out their flower beds, planting seeds, and getting ready for spring planting. In New Hampshire, you won't plant until Memorial Day, end of May. Yeah. Toyota is reliable and awesome. Yeah, that's what I think. And so planters are getting ready. I have a small garden and I like to do cucumbers. I had a lot of trouble with squash bugs. I really wanted to do zucchini because most people I know, their zucchini goes crazy. But I ended up with squash bugs and that just really turned me off. But I did really good with kale. Cucumbers are my favorite thing to grow, I think. They just grow so well. And I love to have a salad, you know, grow some lettuce and go out there and get your own fresh veggies from your own garden. I like to grow like cherry tomatoes and stuff like that. So that's coming up, planting, and we have graduations. It's graduation season. My daughter is graduating from college, and I have a son that's graduating from high school, and I have a daughter also that is expecting a new grandbaby. So a lot of things coming up, and as far as YouTube, you know, I hope to put some more content on here about New Hampshire, all about New Hampshire, things that you can do in New Hampshire, and it's a great state. It's a really great state to live in, but there's also, you know, there's lots of changes happening in our state, and we have a lot of people moving to New Hampshire because our motto is live free or die. So people think that if you come to New Hampshire, it's the freest state in the country. I don't know what people gauge that on. Why do they call it the freest state? I don't really know. We do not have state income tax, so if you want to work here, you don't have state income tax, but you do have property tax, and that's where you get really it hits your pocketbook, these property taxes. And so we have property tax, and we do have pretty good, you know, it's a really nice place to live. So when you don't like paying your property taxes, you look out and you say, I am really fortunate to live here, although I don't believe the government should be taking so much of our money. And in New Hampshire, a lot of our money goes toward the schooling system, which is not doing very well. And I blame that on, okay, first of all, people say it costs a lot of money to educate children. But, you know, we have to live within our means. Like, every family has to live within their means. And what is enough money to educate children? Because right now we have smaller classroom sizes. The number of students is going down, but the intellectual ability of students is also going down. So we're paying more money for less results. So we need to do something about this. And I think one of the reasons we pay more money is obviously a good bit of the amount of money in the budget is for salaries and personnel to manage the children. But we need to do some regrouping because the children aren't being managed. And I know how hard it is because I had my own kids, and I know it's hard to manage children, but it's a really hard puzzle to put together right now. So in New Hampshire, the live free or die state, people come here. If you move up north, you'll have very nice country-ish type places, but I'm more in the southern part of New Hampshire, and it's getting very crowded, and it's becoming very populated, and I like the country, so that's why I drive 40 minutes to school. My school is about a 40-minute drive, but our school is doing well. It's growing. We have new students coming in all the time, and we do a pretty good job at our school. The kids know how to read and they know how to write, and it's kind of difficult these days because kids come in all different levels, so we teach a one classroom approach. Like everybody in the 7th grade is in one classroom, and so we have to adapt to the levels of the students and try to catch them up to where we're at, type of thing. So it can be a little bit of a challenge, but we teach the traditional approach. We just teach math. We don't teach any fancy stuff, and I don't get majorly fancy. My strategy for my classes is to teach something new, and the kids practice it. They get a little bit of homework, and then we go at it again the next day. So we don't do a lot of like creative stuff because I just don't have time. We have 40 to 45 minutes for class, and I just try to make the most of it and practice our skills. So that's what we do at our school, and it seems to be working. I've had students this is my 4th year for some of them, and they're doing pretty well. And we do like a workbook up to 8th grade, and then after that we do a textbook style. We do not do computer skills. And when the kids get to high school, they can do the classes at the school. They can also do online classes. We supervise any type of online classes, like, say they're doing a computer class, we will give them time for that and give them a space teacher to do further education. So in New Hampshire, we have Virtual Learning Academy, and that is paid for by the state. So kids can do dual enrollment. You can actually, enroll in college classes during high school. And if you manage it all correctly, you could get a 1 year of college done before you graduate high school, or even 2 years. And that's a really good thing to do for those that do want to go to college. It saves time, money, and it's a great thing. So that's also available, and we try to let the students adapt to those things. And then we have other students that maybe they're not going to go to college, but they're going to, we have a few students starting their own businesses. We have landscaping business. I heard one of the students, he's going to do detailing where he's detailing cars as a business to save money, and that way that's kind of a good thing, because then as kids excuse me, they want to go, maybe I have one boy that wants to do a missions trip, and maybe family vacation of some sort. You could take that business with you, or you could even just not plan anything for the times that you're going to be busy. So I think that detailing job is a really good idea. I wonder how much he charged to do my car. Yeah, so there's kids that are, I think that one student is planning to go to college. But if you're not planning to go to college, there's other options, and we try to just give the kids room to make those choices, and we have a safe environment, and it's been working out pretty well. So it looks like an amazingly sunny day. Really happy about that. So how are you guys doing? And do you watch the news? Like, I don't really watch the news much, but I will look at, maybe even YouTube has some news channels, and I'll see what's going on, and then I'll kind of investigate the story. And recently, there's the story of, in Texas, the two young men where they were at a sports event, and the one kid asked the other kid to leave the tent area. He said no, and the guy that wouldn't move pulls out the knife and kills a 17-year-old boy. Unbelievable. Sometimes when I hear these stories, I'm like, this can't be true. This totally can't be true. I just heard last night that the murderer did a GoFundMe and got over $100,000. Like, I don't get it, why people donate to that and not other things. I have a friend that her husband died, left her, with 9 children, and she tried to do a GoFundMe, and she didn't get $100,000. They're all like, oh, you should have planned better. Oh, it's too bad. And, it was hard for her to raise money to get help. And here this guy gets over $100,000. I think it's probably because he's on the news and it's widely well known. But I also saw a news story where there were some talking heads talking about if this guy can go to court and plead self-defense. And I don't see how that could even happen, because, self-defense would be you have no other choice. Like, it's life or death. And he could have walked out of the tent. He could have gotten out of the tent and been on his way. He had it was not forced on him to take drastic measures in that situation. So, just absolutely tragic. I can't even think of a word that describes how terrible that situation is. And I hope he is prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. And what else? Oh, there's a pastor in South Africa, and pray that he will be returned safely. And pray for his situation, whatever it might be. I just pray that God is with him, that he has strength, that he can just know God right now, close to him. He knows that, he knows that Joseph was cast into a pit. Joseph was put in prison. Paul was put in prison. There are people in the Bible that were persecuted, and they had to face some evil situations. And this pastor knows his Bible, and just pray that God would help him and have supernatural strength, and that he will come home to his family safely. I know there's a lot of really bad stuff going on in this world, and just pray for that man, that we will see a miracle, that he will come home to his family. Very tragic story. And this could happen to anyone, I think. If it happened in America, I hope that we'd be able to track the people down and rescue someone in that situation. But I don't know. I give my utmost respect to those who are missionaries in foreign countries, and I know that there's a story of Elizabeth Elliot, who they were missionaries to Ecuador, and that story is kind of generational because that happened, oh man, I can't remember the year it happened. I'm thinking it's in the 60s, and it was kind of fresh in my life as a child, and you know, the story was playing out because they went to Ecuador, and I believe it was 6 men that were all killed on the beach that day with spears. And of course they came out with a movie, The End of the Spear, and we all know that if people go to a foreign country, anything can happen, and there's not 911 everywhere you go. And so that story, and I followed Elizabeth Elliot through the years because she was an amazing Christian woman who handled things with grace, and I always loved and respected her because she was amazing. Her husband was killed, and she even went on to minister to the very people that killed her husband. And if anyone can do that, like, that is totally God's divine intervention. That is not human, that people could forgive that amazingly. And her story of how she lived, I think she lived in the jungle there for like 10 years, and she ministered to those people, and she ended up leaving when her daughter needed to come to the United States and get an education. But she credits a lot of the times as a missionary there, working with those native South American people, that they had, you know, yeah, they killed her husband, but they were scared. They were kind of just, they didn't know, so they just, it's like, you know, killing a predator of some sort, a lion, a tiger, or something like that. It was their custom, you know, if you come into our territory, we kill you. And they did it for in between their tribes, and the people that actually killed them said that they knew something was different because they had guns and they didn't pull them out. So it's a very sad story, and turned out to be a good story for some, but some really good people died in that situation. And I've heard people say that sometimes missionaries aren't prepared, they don't plan ahead and all this stuff, and I'm like, these guys were intelligent. Like, you can read their books. Jim Elliot had a journal that got published. They were extremely smart people. They just wanted to have faith in God that they could tell the gospel to people who have never heard and never had a chance to hear. And they were like, Elizabeth Elliot was amazing with what's the word? I'm thinking literacy, she knew languages, and what she did was she listened to their sounds and she wrote down their language for the first time. Linguistics, that's the word. She was good at linguistics, and they were extremely intelligent, and they prepared themselves spiritually. Maybe they should have been more militarily oriented. Maybe they would have survived if they had shields or something, or if they had a way to fight. I don't know, because I wasn't there. But the fact is, it happened. God used it, and he does allow martyrdom, which is very hard for us to comprehend. And I believe that God gives strength and a special gift to those who go to foreign countries, and they know the risk and they just do it anyway. And they don't know what the future is going to be. They know that something bad could happen, but they're willing to give their life to the Lord. And that's what they've done. They've given their life to the Lord, whatever God would have. Now, in our country, I watched a funeral Friday night, 54-year-old woman. God took her home, and we don't understand it. But she also had given her life to the Lord, and trust the Lord that much. You know, sometimes when we get upset or depressed or angry, it's because we haven't trusted God enough with our life. God wants us to trust in him, and he has a different plan for every person. And if his plan is to, you know, use us in any way, then we have to trust him, because what's the worst that could happen, you know, for a Christian? We get to go to heaven. Heaven is much better than earth. So we can't be threatened with anything. That's what Easter's all about. The Lord died on the cross. He was put in the grave for 3 days. He rose again, and he conquered death. So death is inevitable. It's appointed unto men once to die. But we also need to remember that if we put our trust in the Lord, he will determine that day, and we can trust in him, that his way is perfect. And we have to give our lives to him, because he gave us our life. Like, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the divine intervention of God and just giving us the air to breathe and the ability to live. So who are we to think that we have any kind of control over it, right? So anyway, happy Monday, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you for coming to my video. Happy spring, happy sunshine, and I'm going to sign off, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.